I want to read about Mercury, so we're going to read about Mercury. This is recent advances in Mercury research. Shout out to Ebony or Ebony. Oh, shit. Ebony J. Martinez Finley. What the fuck? What a long ass name. It doesn't tell me when this was published and finalized in its form is 2014. This isn't fucking. Wait, am I reading the right thing? What? Okay. Oh, okay. I see. I see. Published and final edit. Okay, yeah. So this was published in March 28th, 2014. Recent my ass. Okay. Let's just get into this. Mercury, Hg, is a highly toxic, non-essential, naturally occurring metal with a variety of uses. Oh my god, I just realized something. I'm reading about Mercury, the element, rather than the planet. No shot. Okay. We're gonna. I titled the stream, oh yeah, there are other planets, but we're actually reading about the metal. It's a highly toxic, non-essential, naturally occurring metal with a variety of uses. Mercury is not required for any known biological processes, and its presence in the human body may be detrimental, especially to the nervous system. Sorry, there's this little girl who kept looking at me, and it was very cute and funny. Both genetic and behavioral, I don't know how to pronounce that. Behavioral, I always say it viral, but it's behavioral studies suggest that that mercury levels, age, both of exposure and at testing, and genetic background determine disease processes and outcome. The metal receptors and genes responsible for mercury metabolism also appear to play a pivotal role in the etiology. Etiology? What the fuck is etiology, bro? I always find cool and interesting words from these streams. Etiology. It's a scientific study of the causes, origins, and reasons behind a disease or abnormality. Of mercury-induced pathology. This review presents information about the latest advances in mercury research, with particular focus on low-level exposures and the contribution of genetics to toxic outcome. Further, future studies should address the contribution of genetics and low-level mercury exposure to disease, namely gene X environment interactions, taking into consideration age of exposure, as developing animals are exquisitively more sensitive to this metal. In addition to recent advances in understanding the pathology associated with mercury exposure, the review highlights transport mechanisms, cellular distribution, and detoxification of mercury species in the body. Mercury is a naturally occurring element present in the Earth's crust. Although present in the environment and atmosphere in small quantities, it is a source of concern due to its considerable release through anthropogenic emissions. Mercury toxicity is not limited to humans. It is also detrimental to animals and plants. The mechanisms through which it causes cell death are of particular interest, and this has received considerable attention. Mercury has a rich history. Its applications have varied from extracting gold, which remains a common practice in developing countries, to treating everything from constipation to syphilis. Whoa. Many believe that the character of the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland was based on English hatters who were poisoned by mercuric nitrate used in the felting process. Natural sources of mercury in the environment include elemental mercury vapor from volcanoes and forest fires, and the release of inorganic mercury by weathering and movement of water. Oh, damn. There's mercury in the water. More recent anthropogenic sources include burning of coal and fossil fuels, mining of mercury, precious metal refinement, electrical and automotive part manufacturer and chemical processing, and release through waste incineration, landfills, and industrial contamination of water systems. Is mercury just fucking everywhere? Some of the best known environmental effects of mercury on human health come from Minamata, Japan, and Iraq, secondary to consumption of tainted fish and wheat, respectively. In Minamata, over the course of several years, industrial wastewater containing mercury was released into the environment and bioaccumulated in fish. In the 1950s, adults who consumed the mercury-laced fish developed Minamata disease, which was eventually characterized by paresthesia, sensory deficits, slurred speech, unsteady gait, muscle weakness, irritability, memory loss, and depression. Similar symptoms were observed in Iraq after consumption of bread made from grain treated with ethyl mercury. Methyl mercury contamination of fish is still a significant source of human exposure to mercury compounds in fish-eating populations. Because mercury in the environment poses significant risk to human health, it is regulated by the United States. What the fuck was this comma? What? It is regulated by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, and the Occupation Health and Safety Agency, OSHA. These agencies take recommendations from the National Academy of Sciences expert panel, expert panels that review available scientific studies and make safe level recommendations. It is recommended that levels of mercury not exceed 5.0. What is UG? I mean, technically this kind of counts as a term, so micrograms per liter. Whoa. That's not the one I'm looking for. Where micrograms per liter. In whole blood, or 1.0 UG grams hair, which corresponds to a reference dose of 0.1 UG to kg body weight/day. I don't fucking understand any of that shit. The FDA also limits the amount of mercury in cosmetic products to 1 ppm. ppm, I'm guessing, is uh penis pump measure. In a study conducted in 2013, how long ago? That's actually that was 13 years ago. What the fuck? This study is 12 years ago. Holy shit. Um 549 skin lightening products manufactured in 32 countries, purchased both online and in the stores in stores in the USA, Taiwan, Japan, China, Thailand, and Sri Lanka, were tested for mercury levels. Cosmetics were screened for mercury content above 200 ppm using a low-cost portable X-ray fluorescence spectrometer. Of the 549 tested products, 33 representing what does this sign mean actually? I actually don't know what this means. Symbol amount. What? I'm not saying less than. What? Sorry. How are you reading this as the less than symbol? What is happening? What if I... What's happening? Is every symbol the less than symbol? It just thinks every symbol is the less than symbol. Okay, never mind. We're just gonna ignore that. Sorry. I was playing with Google. Okay. Contained mercury above 1,000 ppm. Whoa. 45% contained mercury in excess of 10,000 ppm, and 3.3% of skin lightening products purchased in the USA were found to contain mercury in excess of 1,000 ppm. Jeez. Mercury is a very potent toxicant, with the nervous system, particularly the developing nervous system, being the most affected. Various mercury research studies have emerged in the last few years, and the number is too vast to review all of them here. But common themes have appeared, such as studies of low-level mercury exposure and the contribution of genetics to mercury toxicity. The most recent of these studies are reviewed herein. A background of mercury administration, distribution, metabolism, and excretion is provided for context. Oh boy. Oh boy, I fucking hate. Anyways, hold on. Let me check something real quick. Okay. Oh boy, I fucking hate Nick. Mercury species. Mercury, also known as Quicksilver, it's my boy Quicksilver, is the only metal that is liquid at room temperature. Wait, really? What? There are three primary forms of mercury: elemental or metallic mercury, inorganic mercury, and organic mercury. Hg0 is a silver-colored liquid at room temperature, but forms mercury vapors at ambient temperatures due to its very high vapor pressure. These characteristics have made mercury particularly valuable for use in production of chlorine gas and caustic soda, extraction of gold and silver from ore, and as a component of batteries, dental amalgam, thermometers, barometers, and electrical switches. Elemental mercury is rarely found in nature, but can be heat extracted from inorganic cinnabar ores. Mercury is the oxidation state that is most commonly found. Okay. Sources, uses, half-life, and notes on absorption, distribution, and metabolism of mercury. Common nomenclature. Uses, sources, half notes on absorption. Elemental or metallic mercury. Metal refinement, electrical components, production of chlorine gas and caustic soda, batteries, dental amalgam, thermometers, barometers, sources, cinnabar ore, occupational exposure, i.e., waste disposal, electrical and auto parts manufacturing, chemical processing, metal processing, dental occupation, construction painters. Construction painters? What? Where the fuck are you? Okay, anyway. Dental fillings, broken light bulbs. Sorry, okay. I'm not gonna read this actually. I'm just gonna show it on screen and you guys can read all of this shit. I don't feel like reading fucking tables, okay? I just want to read article text. Oh my god, which one is this again? It's isn't it like mercury? Am I getting that? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? It's methyl mercury. Okay. Methyl mercury is the form of mercury that is highly neurotoxic and exerts most of the toxicity commonly associated with mercurials. I've heard this term before. What are mercurials? I've definitely heard this term. No, not fucking soccer shoes. Mercurial typically describes someone whose mood or behavior changes quickly or unpredictably. Mercurial. Oh. Mercurial. Depending on the depth and oxygen content of waters, Hg2, just so I understand, this is mercuric, mercuric, mercuric and mercury, mercury, mercuric, and mercury sulfide can be transferred by methanogens, methanogens and sulfate reducing bacteria to oh my god, methyl mercuric, I'm pretty sure, or mercuric, because methyl mercuric. Oh my god, sorry, hot girls. Because methyl mercuric has a higher bioavailability than elemental and inorganic compounds, because it is highly lipid soluble, it can diffuse out of cell and can accumulate in waters where it can be absorbed by bottom feeders such as zooplankton and other small organisms. These organisms are consumed by small fish, which are then eaten by larger fish, resulting in mercury bioaccumulation the higher you go up the food chain. Due to bioaccumulation and slower excretion rates, methyl mercuric is concentrated by as much as 1,000,000-fold in larger predatory fish relative to the surrounding water. This is particularly problematic for fish that have more fat due to mercury's high lipid solubility. Sources: humans absorb methyl mercuric and mercury, or no, methyl mercury and mercuric. naturally through ingestion of contaminated fish and plants. Geez, okay. Cellular fractions of muscle tissue from several species of commercially farmed fish were analyzed for mercury species/content. The highest levels of total mercury were found bound to cellular debris in the metallothionein-like pool. This sequestration of mercury at the tissue and cellular level may reduce the toxicity of mercury to the fish, but unfortunately contributes to the high concentrations of mercury present in fish. Occupational exposure and anthropogenic mercury emissions can also present significant sources of mercury exposure to humans. Human exposure to I don't remember which one that fucking is. HG0 can occur through dermal contact, skin contact, ingestion, and/or through inhalation of vapors. Occupations with reported mercury exposures are waste disposal, electrical and auto parts manufacturing, chemical processing, metal processing, dental occupations, construction, and house painting. Non-dietary, non-occupational sources of exposure are mercury spills from broken light bulbs or thermometers or from dental fillings. The absorption, transport, and detoxification of mercury is dependent on the mercury species. For elemental and inorganic mercury, inhalation of mercury vapors is the most significant source of absorption. Sorry, these girls just distract me. For a significant source, as much as 80% of the inhaled vapors directly entering the bloodstream. Beautiful. Upon absorption, elemental mercury enters all tissues and accumulates in the central nervous system and kidneys. Inorganic mercury has low lipid solubility and does not readily cross cell membranes. Once absorbed, the majority of Hg2 accumulates in the kidney and liver. As much as 90% of ingested, I know this one, methylmercury is absorbed through the intestine and forms thiol complexes with proteins and amino acids, such as glutathione and cysteine in the liver. Some methylmercury enters the general circulation, where it is distributed throughout all tissues, including the brain. However, most of the absorbed methylmercury is incorporated into bile, secreted into the intestine, and reabsorbed through the enterohepatic circulation. Other organomercurials, such as ethylmercury, are metabolized to Hg2+ more rapidly. The longer the alkyl chain, carbon hydrogen chain. Alkyl chain of the organic mercury compound, the more it behaves as an inorganic Hg2+, and therefore have different tissue accumulation. Similar to Hg2+, the highest levels of methylmercury are found in the kidney, with very little accumulating in neural tissues. Mercury has high affinity for thiol and selenol groups. These groups are used primarily for mercury transport, both cells and through the body. For mercury transport, both through cells and through the body. Metallothionein and GHS are examples of thiol-rich intracellular proteins. Selenol proteins include GHS peroxidase, uh, iodothyron, iodothyron, mhm, iodothyronine, iodothyronine, deodenase, theoredoxin, reductus, and selenoprotein P cysteine. Cysteine, I'm guessing maybe, or cysteine, residus on serum albumin and hemoglobin are used to transport. Bro, this was not a sentence. Oh, I see. I see where I fucked up. Selenoprotein P, period. Cysteine residues on serum albumin and hemoglobin are used to transport 90% of Hg2 plus, and I'm just gonna call it MEHG in plasma. Goblins, really. Globins and other plasma proteins, including selenoprotein P, are responsible for the remaining percentage. MEHG in blood is found conjugated with GSH in erythrocytes. Erythrocytes, I'm guessing. Erythrocytes? That's what it looks like, it sounds like. In addition to transport, detoxification of Hg2 plus and MEHG species can also occur through complexation with GSH. GSH mercury complexes facilitate systemic excretion through the liver and kidneys, as well as cellular efflux of MEHG from astrocytes. The affinity of inorganic and organic mercury compounds is higher for selenol groups than for thiol groups. Man, fuck this shit. I'm done reading this shit. This is a pretty fun read though. Just real difficult. Just real difficult. Thank you for being here with me though. Thank you for reading with me. Thank you for being on this journey of information. I love you. You have a great day.